Well, we're very pleased to welcome back to the Kootenays Mr. Stephen Fearing. He's a two-time Juno Award winner, once as a solo artist and once with his group Blackie and the Rodeo Kings. Stephen, welcome back to the Kootenays.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
You were here a couple of years ago, basically the early stages of your tour for your album Between Hurricanes.
That's right.
At times you can't see what's up ahead, but you make your choice and you make your bed. Moving on.
What's been going on since then, and how has the album done in your mind?
I think the album's done as well as I could hope. You know, it's such a changed world in terms of how you even gauge those things anymore.
So how do you try and gauge that?
Well, you just gauge it on things like, you know, feedback you get from people who've listened to the album, bought it, what people want to hear at shows. You know, if they're still asking after 2 years for stuff from previous records, you might think, okay, this one didn't register. But, you know, you get a sense of where it's gone and what it's done. You know, there's sales, but that doesn't really mean anything anymore. It's a very odd thing, a record. It doesn't mean what it used to mean, but for us, for those of us who still make them, you know, you love making records. Like, there's a whole process to writing it, recording it, and I would never want to let go of that.
So you must enjoy seeing things like this latest revival in vinyl record sales.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. And I think that there is something to be said for people wanting to hold something physical, focus on one thing, and be able to kind of immerse themselves in that recording in a way that only vinyl kind of lets you do that. There's something about the size of it and all the detail you can put on.
The sense of ownership that you have there. Now, for you, speaking of ownership, you're a new homeowner. You recently moved from Halifax back out west to Victoria last summer. So how has that gone, and how does it feel to be back out west?
Well, it was nerve-wracking. As you can imagine, the market in Halifax versus the market in Victoria is really different.
Houses are how much?
Yeah, not Vancouver expensive, thank God, but my wife's family live in Victoria, and all of my family live in the interior BC now. So we kind of were wondering what exactly we were doing out in the East Coast. And there was a whole bunch of other reasons as well, but primarily, as I say, family. You know, as for me, as long as there's a reliable airport, it doesn't really matter where I live. But if I have a choice, living somewhere that makes my wife happy, you know, getting texts when you're on the road saying, I'm so glad we moved here, as opposed to there's another blizzard coming on Wednesday, you know, that really makes the quality of life better for her and for me.
Absolutely. Happy wife, happy life, right?
That's right.
Now, you have a couple of exciting new albums in the works.
That's right.
The first, let's talk about Blackie and the Rodeo Kings. Anticipating, what, late spring, early summer?
I would imagine that we'll have some kind of a first single out early in the summer, which we can then start the whole ball rolling with. But the actual final record probably won't come till a little later in the summer.
In the meantime, I guess, you are working on another solo record.
Yeah. Well, you know, having to look ahead, I don't want to be putting a record out that's too close to the next Blackie record. So mine will come out 2017, January, February, somewhere in there.
And hopefully we see some more shows, both solo and with Blackie and the Rodeo Kings in the Kootenays.
Oh, yeah. I mean, now that I live in Victoria, it's much more doable.
Fantastic. Well, we look forward to seeing you in this area again, and we look forward to those new albums coming out in the next year.
Thank you so much.
Thanks so much for joining us.
My pleasure. Thanks for doing this.